How'd you get in with BP and just kind of how you got here?
Well, I met Coach Pearl a while back, and like I said, I've obviously watched him from afar, and I think we, in the recruiting circles, he knew a couple people that I knew, and I couldn't pass down the opportunity to work for a Hall of Fame coach, and I've learned, like I said, it's been exceeded my expectation in this short period of time. I've learned so much, and I think that obviously an opportunity to be able to work with him each day is going to build me as far as hopefully be able to put myself in a position to be able to run a program one day.
Now you left your alma mater to come here, right?
I did.
That was a tough choice.
I did. It was a tough choice, but again, when I went to my alma mater, it was they were struggling, and I was fortunate to be a part of putting them back in a position to be successful. And we won our league title last year, and we've recruited well enough that I feel like the infrastructure was set for it to be continued to put him back where it is now, and they're doing well. And so I was comfortable in the sense that I accomplished what I came there to do, and this was something that I felt like opportunity-wise was something that was best for me moving forward.
Yeah. Is Philadelphia a big area for you?
It is.
As far as recruiting?
Well, I mean, at Penn, I've recruited internationally, so it's not like one region. Right. I actually recruited a lot of the South when I was at Penn, so I think a lot of those recruiting back ties are part of what connected me with BP. But like Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, D.C., that whole Eastern Seaboard is a heavily recruited area by the majority of the high major colleges. So I have some connections through different programs that I wasn't always able to use because of the academic component at Penn that I'm looking forward to being able to kind of exercise now.
The fact that Harris Abra had gone up there and helped with Horace and Samir, does it help that maybe they know Auburn a little bit more now?
It does. I mean, I think that having a couple Philadelphia kids on the team is always a plus, but success is a big part of recruiting. And if you have visibility and the team's doing well, that kids want to play. Obviously, the SEC is one of the premier leagues in the country. It's not hard selling kids to get out of that snow to come down here for the winter time. So, but it is a big part to having some kids that have come from that region to be able to market that success.
What's been your impression of Auburn? Because you think football school. What's been your impression of the basketball side of things now that you've been here?
I've been really impressed the level of engagement with the administration. Again, outside you do look at it as a football school, but I think that when you come to Auburn to be a champion. I think I've learned with the equestrian team, the baseball, everybody, track and field. So football, obviously, in the SEC market is a big deal, but I just also feel like they've allocated so much for the success of the basketball program that it's been better than what I expected.
What do you feel like is your specialty from a coaching standpoint? Where do you think you excel?
It's an interesting question. As a coach, you want to try to be as well-rounded as possible. I've ran the defense in a lot of places that I've been, but I've also worked for Steve Donahue, who's considered one of the top 5 offensive minds. He was Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year 3 or 4 years ago. So I've learned so much from him. So I just kind of I don't want to be a jack of all trades, but I kind of want to get in where I fit in. I want to supply where there's a need at. So I feel like I would like to think I'm as good offensively as I am defensively, but I've also been really good in player development where I've taken that task and making people better, not having the same player you are as a freshman be as you are as a senior. So between offense, defense, and player development, I think I bring a little bit of all of them to the table.
How do you think BP is using you? What's he accentuating?
Well, I think BP's given me enough time to learn his system and what's going on here. And like you said, he sprinkled me in both places. I've obviously had the opportunity to work some of the bigs and some of the guards off the floor. BP is a marvel offensively and defensively with his sets. So I've been able to add some of where I think we can help defensively and things do a little bit of a different perspective to things defensively and offensively. Obviously, some things that have helped different positions be in position to be successful, if that makes sense. Like different positions on the floor, whether different things with the 3-man or different things with the 4-man, and this is, I think, what we're doing at Auburn can be more successful.
Do you think Auburn does some unusual stuff with its 3 and its 4s?
They do. They do out of basket, just not unusual in a sense. College basketball usually mimics professional basketball in a sense, and there's been this trend to be more positionless basketball in almost a sense. But we have one of the, a couple of the best big men in the country, and something like a perimeter shooting 5-man in Anthony, and one of the, dinosaurs in a sense with big men like Austin Wiley, who's physical and can compete and runs the floor. So it's been unique in mixing those parts. And then you have a guy like, Chuma Okeke, who's like very versatile, can play on the wing, can post guys up. So it's been good being able to work with the differences, but Auburn does do a little bit different than even you look outside the SEC, how people play traditional 4-man or traditional 5s.
When Bruce first reached out to you, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, wow, what a unique opportunity. I think my biggest thing was the opportunity to obviously coach in the SEC, but also to coach for Coach Burrow, who few people have gotten to 500 wins as close as quickly as, and has had the level of success at non-Division I to Division I to high major Division I. So it was a blessing.
With Chuma, I know that we've talked about him being a little more aggressive offensively. Is that something you're working with him on?
We talked to him a lot about it, but I think that Chuma, and we talk about this a lot. Chuma not being a pig or a guy that's hunting shots, it actually helps this group a little bit. Obviously, as a staff, we want him to. He gets a lot of opportunities. In Coach Pearl's system, you have the point guard, but you have the power forward or the 4 spot. That guy is probably our second most guy from a playmaking standpoint that we have, and so the ability to be able to bounce it, pass it, and shoot it, which Chuma brings to the table, is something that's very, 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 very important for our system and for it to work.
Yeah. Stephen talked about him and Samir both being unselfish to a fault, but he didn't talk about how it kind of keeps the offense in rhythm. Yeah. Is that one of those things that makes those two guys so valuable?
Definitely. It's kind of like the Golden State Warriors, man. When you see one guy sharing the basketball, it kind of feeds into the rest of the guys and the rest of the team. And so those guys are guys that, have the ability to score, they have the ability to defend, they have the ability to shoot, they have the ability to pass. But I think from both of those guys' standpoint, their versatility is what makes them special. It's not that they're great at shooting, they're great at driving it, they're great at passing it, but the ability to be able to do all three is what makes them so valuable, and what's going to help our team also.
You said you watched a lot of film. Chuma, what do you see out of him, and what have you seen out of him now that you've been on campus with him?
I think the biggest thing, man, is the work that he's put into his body. The work that him and Coach Davis and the rest of our strength staff have put into his body. He came in as a freshman and had kind of this baby look, and now he's trimmed down. I think he's a little quicker. I think he's stronger. And it's going to be interesting to see, during the course of the year, how much better he gets. I think he's a guy that can guard multiple positions. He's probably our best rebounder. He's a guy that hadn't shot it consistently yet, but he's a guy that can shoot the basketball. But above that, kind of like Jared Harper, he's a guy that has an unbelievable IQ, basketball IQ. He covers up so many mistakes that we make on the defensive end that people don't really recognize. That it helps us on the defensive end, and obviously offensively, his ability to be able to make a great decision is something that obviously gives him a lot of time in our lineup too.
Chemistry's been good. Having a bunch of returners really helps. Having Javon really being the only guy, and I guess Austin to some extent, but who was also here last year. Javon being the one guy who's new, but being a veteran guy with some college experience to come in with a veteran group, he's really gelled in there quickly. So, great chemistry, great cohesion. Guys understand the system, which is huge. Understanding our defensive philosophies and the offense, not having to teach a lot of new stuff has been a big part of our success. I've had some good highlights and a lot of stuff that we've been able to learn on. So far, it's been a solid start.
BP kind of makes a big deal out of who's scouting each game. Not a lot of coaches do that. You think it's kind of cool the way he gives you all credit for things like that?
Yeah, I mean it's cool in the fact that we put a ton of work in. So to have your head coach kind of recognize the amount of work you put into a scout and then tell the public about it is cool, because you're right, a lot of coaches don't do that. But it really is a team effort. I'm not the only one that's doing my scout. I have Ryan Langford, who's a graduate assistant, help me on all my scouts, and then as a staff we all come together and go through coverages and game plans. So we really all help each other out in all the different areas. So it's not just one specific guy. It's really become a collective team over the last 2 years, and I think it's helped us with a lot of our success.
Anything in particular you guys as a team you think need to get better at or to get ready for SEC play?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of that got exposed against Dayton. We need to show a different level of toughness, especially when SEC play comes around. There's some really tough teams in our league. You look at Tennessee last night, going in there and hitting Gonzaga in the mouth and just applying pressure for 40 minutes. And those are the types of things that you got to do in league play. You got to be a good rebounding team. We got out-rebounded by 10 by a good rebounding team in Dayton. So I think a little bit of our toughness got exposed, which we've shown in the past that we're a pretty tough team, and we'll continue to get tougher as the year goes on. Rebounding and those are probably the two main things.
You think as Austin gets more back into game shape, that'll help on the boards?
Yeah, Austin's a great offensive rebounder. Defensive rebounding, he's always been so big that he's been able to kind of gobble up rebounds in space. So yeah, I think as he gets more games underneath him, he'll be better. So yeah, he's a big part of it. Horace, Anthony, our bigs have got to do a better job of throwing the first punch and establishing their presence in there. But I think as we start playing, some better teams with NC State on the road, UAB in a neutral site, Murray State coming in here, these teams will all test our toughness, and it'll help us going into league play.
Danjel this summer, I know you guys spent a lot of time with him on rebounding. What do you think he's going to bring to the table?
Danjel played some 4 his freshman year. He learned the 3 this summer, so to be able to play both positions is very, very key. His ability to shoot the ball in our offense is important. Really stretches the floor depending on what position he plays. So he'll definitely bring an offensive component to the table at whichever position he plays. And then defensively, he's got some work to do if he's going to play the 3 to be able to guard smaller players. And at the 4, he's got to match the physicality of a tougher, bigger 4. So he brings versatility to the table, which is always beneficial.
Watching Tennessee beat Gonzaga yesterday, are you happy to see that they're maintaining that inertia that VP created and that you were part of as well?
Yeah, I mean, Rick's done an amazing job there. And that was the first time they beat a #1 team since 2010 when we beat Kansas with 6 scholarship players and 3 walk-ons. So. It was cool to see them represent for the league. That was a big win for the league. The league needed that one. There was only one win against an AP top 25 team, and that was us, and we beat Washington. So to have another SEC school go and beat the likes of Gonzaga was great for the league. So it was happy for Coach Barnes and that program.